we're facing a choice between action and the real prospect of economic hardship for millions of Americans, for the financial security of every American. Congress must act.
Welcome back to The Race. That was President Bush calling on Congress to pass a bailout bill. Now, this morning, the president called the two men who hope to get his job in 35 days, Senators McCain and Obama, to help make it happen. Now, the question is, can either candidate help the bailout plan get passed? And who has the best chance to get the economy back on track? With us now for a face-off are Obama's senior economic advisor, Austan Goolsbee, and McCain's senior policy advisor, Douglas Holtz-Eakin. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being with us. Douglas, it's not been a good couple of weeks for Senator McCain when it comes to the economy. Does he still believe the fundamentals of this economy are strong?
Oh, obviously, the workers, the factories, the technologies, the culture of innovation remain in place. Sadly, they're being crushed by this credit crunch, which he has made great efforts to address, and which, sadly, the House of Representatives turned its back on the American people yesterday. But he'll continue the efforts to put the country first, take the actions necessary to get relief both to the financial markets, get them stabilized, and to help Main Street America do ordinary business, get the loans they need just to carry their inventory or make their payroll, and then pass that to create jobs.
You talked about how the House Republicans turned their back on America. Didn't they also turn their back on John McCain, who told us that he went down to Washington to help the bailout pass?
Look, John McCain went down to Washington because there was a great national problem. Secretary Paulson had put forward a piece of a plan that was unacceptable to the American taxpayer. Economists everywhere and the senator's advisors were saying that the economy was in peril. And there were no votes in either the House or the Senate. I mean, Speaker Pelosi had said clearly Republicans had to participate. Harry Reid was saying to John McCain, you got to help get Republicans. So he suspended his campaign. He went down. He put the country first. And we went from something that was dead in the water to a vote yesterday. Now, did that vote go the way John McCain wanted? No. But the American people are the ones who suffered, and we need to see House Republicans, House Democrats, Senate Republicans, Senate Democrats come together in the process that John McCain had helped foster and do the right thing for the American people by getting this through.
Let me bring in Austin right now. Austin, Barack Obama's kept his head low throughout this entire crisis. A lot of people on Wall Street are wondering what his position is, not only on this issue, but on AIG. And what's his solution? Are you guys going to come out and be more specific in the coming days and weeks?
No, hold on. I totally disagree with the premise of that question, Joe. He organized meetings with lead economic advisors from both sides of the aisle. Paul Volcker, Warren Buffett, Paul O'Neill, Bill Donaldson, a number of people.
Well, aren't all those guys
clear
Obama
and specific principles. No. Not Paul O'Neill is not an official Obama supporter. He was the former Secretary of the Treasury under George Bush. Obama's been consulting leading figures to get their ideas. He's been talking with the administration.
All right, so if he organized meetings and he's been consulting with them,
that was the first thing.
Tell us what they told him and how that's going to impact him if he's the next president of the United States on this issue. What did they tell him?
Well, so They told him many things of many different views.
Like what?
What he said, look, Joe, what he said, his specific plan was, let us not give the administration a blank check, which is what they were asking for. Let us insist on conditions to the plan, which he got. And the Democrats insisted on, which included making sure it doesn't cost the taxpayer a dime. We got a guarantee of that there's an upside that the government gets, and that if after they sell off the stuff there's a shortfall, the financial industry will foot the bill for the difference.
All right.
So the taxpayer will not be on the hook.
Doug, let me turn it over to Erin Burnett. She's got a question.
Be fair to poor Austin if you could, because Senator Obama usually has 2, maybe 3 positions on every issue, so he's struggling to catch up.
All right. I'm lucky to be here. I'm getting in the middle here. Hold on.
Whoa.
We'll give you an answer later.
Doug and Austin, I'm lucky to be here. I mean, just ask from the CNBC perspective. A couple questions. Doug, for you, though, first, I know today Senator McCain said, actually to Kelly O'Donnell here, that the Treasury might have this $1 trillion. And I spent a lot of time looking into this, and everything that I'm hearing from sources in the government is that's not really the case. There might be some wiggle room, but not that much. Do you really think that if they had $1 trillion to use, they wouldn't just use it?
Well, what they choose to use, I don't know. But the reality is that the legislation that passed, the housing bailout bill, allowed the debt limit to be increased by nearly $1 trillion, which means the Treasury can borrow, and it gave the government the authority to purchase MBSs. You can put those two together and do it. Certainly, but the Treasury would direct it through the conservatorship, and you could, as a result, make purchases of the core instrument that's at the trouble of our financial system. So that's an authority that's there, and it's available to be used.
And look, I looked into it today. People seem to think in practicality it wouldn't happen. I mean, technically, potentially, but practically that wouldn't happen. But let me ask you a question, Austan, quickly, and then I'll get. Sorry, Doug.
Yes.
I don't want to take all jokes.
Right.
I just want to ask you a question, Austan. The big concern on Wall Street still seems to be people perceive there to be a real question over what Obama's stance on this plan is, and if he supports it, he's got a big price tag on his economic policy. Something would have to be cut. What?
Well, Barack Obama's program, as he outlined and as the Tax Policy Center in Washington documented, his program has been paid for. We paid for each thing as we went along. So it's a little weird to say which of the paid-for things he proposed will be abandoned because of the cost.
Before they slipped you a $1.2 trillion bill.
No. Barack Obama insisted on and got in this legislation that the net cost of the taxpayer will be zero at most and may make money.
Really?
Any difference that they will have outlays to purchase the securities, then they will resell them, and any difference will be paid by the financial industry. They will pay a fee, so the taxpayer will not be on the hook for any money.
I mean, how long will it take to get that bill paid off, though? I mean, won't that eat up at least the first 4 years of an Obama term?
No, I'm saying that the government is not going to be on the hook for this bill. Obama insisted on getting the language into the bill that will cost the taxpayer zero. So this thing is not a $700 blank check. This is a program where they're spending $700 to buy securities. They're turning around and reselling them. If they don't make up the money when they resell it, then the financial industry pays a fee so the taxpayer is made whole.
All right.
So it is not a deficit increase.
We've got to go, guys. Thanks so much for being with us. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Austan.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Guaranteed. Have you heard this? I mean, is it guaranteed? Is anything guaranteed? Or is this sort of the David Stockman rosy scenario?
Isn't it, Joe?
I'll tell you what, that mortgage guarantee for me sure seemed like a great idea.
Right. Yep.
Interest only. Wah, wah, wah.